Welcome to the Retrospect podcast, a show where people come together from different walks of life and discuss a topic from their generation's perspective. My name is Ian, and as always, I'm joined by Stoney.
Hello.
And Jason.
Hello, everyone.
How's it going, guys?
Great.
Good.
Great.
Today we got a very special guest.
Well, you seem a little peppier in your intro.
Well, I mean, it's
today.
exciting.
You seem a little excited.
It's exciting because we have Miss Jennifer with us, and she is, what is the group?
Keep Tigertown Beautiful.
Love it. And I guess we're talking trash today, I guess is what we're...
Absolutely my favorite subject.
Now,
really?
Tigertown would be Baton Rouge, right?
Yes,
Thank you for driving all the way out here to our studio, and I hope it wasn't too long of a drive for you.
No, actually, Jason drove Miss Daisy all the way over.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go.
And we had a great conversation on the way. So we had a great time.
You're a podcaster and a chauffeur, I see.
I am. Hey, we all have a purpose in life.
and a poo-poo coffee guy.
Poo-poo coffee.
And we had a cup of poo-poo coffee.
Yes,
in
it's
the pre-show.
delicious.
Love it.
That poo-poo episode is living on through all these other episodes. I'm absolutely so happy.
Weather
about
and
that.
poo-poo coffee seems to be a common thread.
I'm telling you, if you were to tell me 6 months ago that we would be sitting here having Kopi Luwak and talking about it and it being a core fundamental part of this show, I would not have believed
but
you.
not even for us. Our listeners are
know.
waiting for it
That's
too.
what I'm saying. Is it's not just anyways.
Kopi Luwak it's touched something out there.
I know,
it's,
well, because it's
and
exotic.
Ian, you
right.
started that.
I know, and I didn't.
You started that, Ian. I blame you.
I unintentionally did. I didn't mean to.
You made me spend all that money on coffee.
You make it sound like I strong-armed you. Come on. You told me, you're like, I'm going to buy it. And I was like, Jason, I really don't think you should do that. And you're like, nope, I'm doing it. And I was like, I mean, okay.
Oh, look, don't put anything past me like that. I'm gonna bite the bullet.
Okay.
People may think I'm crazy, but
so Jennifer, you actually listened to the Poo Poo Coffee episode. Does the coffee match what we said? Does it live up to the hype?
Okay. It's fabulous.
It is, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, yes. I'm a big foodie, and I love trying exotic. There's nothing I think that I won't eat except for a hot dog, like a regular hot dog. I won't eat that, but I will try anything,
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, you tried Poo Poo Coffee.
And I love it.
So.
I'm a poo-poo girl now.
I can't believe we're at this. I can't believe we're here right now.
I can. It's awesome. It's just awesome.
Okay, so what is your topic for today? What do you want to talk about?
Well, God, there's a lot we could talk about. I think what I would love to talk about, it's very controversial.
Okay.
We pick up litter. We've been doing it for a little over 2 years. We've picked up 7,500 bags, almost 7,600 contractor bags.
That's a lot of
litter off the streets of Baton Rouge. We have picked up hundreds of tires. We've picked up hundreds of car parts. And drug needles, buckets and buckets of drug needles, okay? And we've been doing this for 2 years, and we started at the height of COVID when, we weren't supposed to talk to each other, and that's the time when everybody was washing their grocery bags when their delivery came. Remember all that? Because of COVID. And then I just kind of snapped because I couldn't stand the litter in Baton Rouge, and I started cleaning up an area.
Okay.
I put an ad out in the social media, and I said, if anybody wants to join me, come join me. And then we had about 10 or 12 volunteers that came out, and I got there in the darkness, and, there I am standing on a 2-foot median with cars whizzing by in the dark, and I look like an old lady that escaped from the nursing home, which was right across the street. I mean, me and my granny panties and my gray hair, and I'm pulling up weeds, and people would drive by and go, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm cleaning up this filthy city." And they would stick their thumb out of the window,
Wow.
I have a question for you.
Right.
In the pre-show, you were talking about when you got 5 volunteers, you were super, super excited. How many volunteers do you have now that come out and help, and how many maybe on what do you do, Saturdays? How many will show up on a Saturday?
Well, on a Saturday, it could be like 25, it could be 80 people, just depending if a group. We've had lots of people with their companies, like Mockler Beverage has been out, and lots of engineering companies have been out. The law school has been out. Just lots of companies are saying, hey, the Women's Council of Realtors have been out. Just everybody's wanting to join up and do a cleanup with us, you know?
You'd be surprised how sometimes it just takes one person taking that step.
I know,
for a whole crowd of people to combine.
Well, when I get mad, it's like, it can be a really good thing, because the best things I've ever done in my life is when I got so angry that I had to I snapped and I did crazy stuff.
I bet.
And so that's how it all started. We have 3,600 members now on our Facebook page.
Oh, wow.
And when we had 5 members, I'm like, oh my God, we have 5 members, everybody.
That's right.
You know, 5 people are following us. Now we have 3,600. And we have we do pop-up cleanups, which is every day. Mm-hmm. And so we have people that are retired that don't have to work.
That's super cool.
They come out, and for 2 hours we clean up for 2 hours. And we'll take a part of the city that is horrible and turn it into beautiful Baton Rouge again. Because Baton Rouge is beautiful.
Yes, it is.
When Mark Twain came here and he saw Baton Rouge, you know what he said? He said, Baton Rouge is like a bride covered in flowers. Because when he said that, I thought, wow, what a beautiful thing to say about Baton Rouge. And that's how Baton Rouge was. And then people were disrespectful. There was plastic. Back then, there were no plastics. There was no styrofoam. So all this stuff just builds up, and people just throw it on the ground, and people give panhandlers. They feel sorry for them, so they give them water. They give them a styrofoam, which they throw on the ground. They don't want the food that we're giving them. And so this mounds up 365 days a year, all day long, for 24 hours a day. And it just sits there and rots because they don't want the food. So that is a big part of the meat of what I like to talk about, because what we've done is miraculous, and it's a God thing. I know that.
It's not just in the city you're talking about. It's everywhere. It's a big city thing where I'm even thinking about friends that I have that talk about, the homeless and trash and stuff that happens over like in Los Angeles and stuff. Or even in other big cities. So it's not just
we clean up homeless camps. Ask Jason.
Yeah, I mean, tell me, what do you think? What happened to Baton Rouge to make the litter become such a big issue? I mean, when has it always? I mean, I know at one time, I don't recall, Baton Rouge being as bad as what I've seen it lately.
I hate to say this. I think it's a general thing. I don't think, like, I come from I'm the boomer generation representative on the show, and we didn't litter like this. We were even trained by our parents. You don't even throw your butts out on the street. And now you can go to any parking lot, you can go anywhere, and people are just throwing their McDonald's bags in the parking lot and just throwing the trash
out.
And
baby diapers.
And
really?
And things.
I will say, I think the litter, I hate to say that, but from a generational perspective, I believe that started with my generation. My generation is where you see the transition from kind of the old way of doing things to a more disposable society.
Right.
That's when you see the bottles, the plastic, the styrofoams, all that started coming in during my time.
And it doesn't biodegrade.
And it doesn't. So, and I think that just started kind of this avalanche of just throwing stuff out. I don't know what happened.
It's a pride thing. It's a pride thing, because my generation was proud of America. We were proud of our communities. We were proud of our families. We took pride in a lot of things. And I think that has left society.
I remember, was it Smokey the Bear commercials that, or what was the...
Crying Indian.
The Crying Indian.
Yeah,
it wasn't the bear. The bear was Forest Fires.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, let me talk about that real quick. Because the Crying Indian commercial is the reason the baby boomers, don't litter. People that I see said, after we saw the Crying Indian commercial, we wouldn't dare litter. And what happened was our grandfathers lived in a society where there were bottles and there was paper. That was it. There was no plastic. There was no styrofoam. So even back in the day, yes, they were littering in the 60s and 70s when the Crying Indian commercial came out. And it was very effective. That commercial was the most effective public service announcement ever in the history of television. That there's nothing was more effective than that commercial. So they quit putting it on. I tried to get the news stations to put it on to replay it. It's a vintage commercial, but it is so effective. It's amazing. Nobody would do it, okay, because it's politically incorrect, because an Indian is in the boat and seeing what people are destroying the beautiful world that God gave us. So that is huge.
I love Calvin and Hobbes, the comic. I don't know if anybody has seen it, but Calvin is the little boy walking with his pet tiger, who's just a stuffed animal. And they're out in this big field. And Calvin is talking to Hobbes about why extraterrestrials don't come down here and visit this planet while they're standing on a pile of trash.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
It is for me, it's one of the greatest cartoons ever, because it kind of says, wow, look at this. We can't even get this right. And I'm glad you said something about Mark Twain, because that's a great quote, and I never knew that. I've always associated Mark Twain with the quote of politician and diapers must be changed often and for the same reason.
Yeah.
So,
well,
so thank you for sharing that with us.
Mark Twain didn't like Louisiana's capital at the time either, the old state capital.
Well, what's so interesting?
No, he didn't. Said it was the ugliest building on the Mississippi River.
It's so gorgeous.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a fort, but I mean, good Lord, it's gorgeous.
He didn't like the Gothic architecture.
Okay.
People can have their opinions, even if it is.
So I remember when we were kids, going back to the bottles, the way that we earned money as kids to go to the movies, to do whatever, is
collecting bottles.
There you go. You would get your deposit,
your nickel
back for every bottle. And man, kids, that was a job for
kids.
kids.
Here's what's really funny about that is Buskin Bill wanted a zoo in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, Elephant Walk.
So remember, he started the 5-cent march.
Yeah.
And that was because we were getting 5 cents per bottles, and he knew that we would go collect bottles and then donate that 5 cents in to get a
scout troops would collect bottles and turn it in. You'd get your deposit for your when you turned a bottle in, you get deposit money back. That's how kids made money back then.
Why did that go away?
Because there's no more bottles anymore.
Yeah,
no glass.
All plastic.
All plastic.
Whenever I lived in Canada back in like 2018, 2019, they used to actually the recycling facility used to as long as you cleaned out any plastic bottles, or it wasn't plastic. It was aluminum cans and glass bottles. And as long as they weren't like super filthy, you could turn them in for money, and they had like a price on it or whatever. So
they still do aluminum, I believe.
Yeah,
I'm not sure about anywhere around here, but I got a pretty penny for turning in glass bottles.
That's right.
And aluminum cans.
I think there's still a couple of places in America that still do the glass bottles. Aluminum obviously is done everywhere. Copper, things like that. Recycling stations will buy it all.
Yeah.
But bottles, I think, is just a dying breed. But I believe there's still a few places out there.
I see glass. I think glass has kind of made a comeback. I kind of wish they would go back to glass, and get away from the plastics. But I don't know if they would.
There is a lot of places. There's a lot of. I'm not sure how much of an impact it's making, but I know that there are some places that are trying to move towards more like biodegradable plastics, or not plastics, but like a cardboard, like alternatives of some kind. So.
Well, it is kind of interesting. I thought this was cool. One of the political people that are running for judge, she made her signs biodegradable.
Oh, fun.
I thought that was really cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, that she did that. But, people don't know this, but years ago, we would give all of our recyclables to China. They were taking 60% of our plastics, okay? And now they're not. They're not taking anything because when you go to China, there's mountains of plastic in residential neighborhoods because they had taken so much of this.
Why?
And they don't want it anymore. So guess who has got the 60% that we were shipping out? We do. And in the ocean, there's plastics like as big as Texas floating around in the ocean. And we have got to get with the program and quit using plastics. Get you a recyclable water bottle. And not recyclable, I mean
reusable,
a sustainable water bottle that you can reuse it. Quit using those plastic bags at the grocery stores that are flying. You can go outside and go down the internet. They're flying, and they end up in the drains, and they end up in the ditches and canals making litter dams because when all the twigs and stuff wrap up in it.
Most people don't hate those bags until they fly up into the grill of your radiator and cause your vehicle to overheat, and then you got to buy something, and then they start hating those bags.
That was another weird thing about Canada as well was, again, you used to get charged for plastic bags, so they really incentivized you to bring a reusable bag because it was like 5 cents per bag, and I was like, no, thank you.
We've got to make some changes. My children grew up in Baton Rouge, and everybody, people's children grew up. And I think what happened over the years, we've gotten desensitized to seeing the litter. And so once I started cleaning up Baton Rouge, and we were posting before and after pictures, I mean, it is in your face, okay? I know people, they probably say, I wish this woman would go away. And I ain't going away, okay?
I'm glad you're not.
So I would post the before and after pictures, and people would say, oh my God, I didn't even realize this. Now I'm seeing litter everywhere. So they are seeing it now because I am putting it out there. For the last 2 years, every day I clean up a different area of Baton Rouge, and I immediately post it. When I come home, I post it, draw my bath water, dive in the bathtub, and I put my phone up, and you ought to see, I wait for the comments. Boom, boom, boom. And people are shocked that and they're getting it now. They're starting to see that, how bad it's an epidemic. It is so bad right now.
Well, I think we've talked about on the podcast doing some Facebook Live and some live events. I'm wondering if maybe a Saturday for the podcast to go out there and do a remote on one of your cleanups.
Come on down.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And see and put it out there for people to see and see if we can't help out. And
I'd love it.
I pulled some stats, and Jennifer, you may be aware of this. I went to the Keep Louisiana Beautiful, which is basically the kind of the umbrella, organization that kind of keeps track of all the cleaning efforts in Louisiana, and based upon their 21-22 impact report, 894,068 pounds. 894,068 pounds of litter has been taken off of just land.
Oh, wow.
That's just land-based litter. That's in basically 1 year.
That's
now,
insane.
I don't know if Keep Tiger Towns Beautiful's numbers are included in this or not.
I'm sure it is. Yeah.
In waterways, 79,020 pounds.
Wow.
And just to give you an idea, I know the DOTD, they put out some information on how much litter they pick up. They spend approximately $9 million a year.
Wow.
Just picking up litter, which is an average of 63,000 cubic yards of litter every year.
The pounds you got there is almost 40 tons.
Yep. Well,
that's 40 tons, roughly.
We've picked up almost 7,600 contractor bags. That's just garbage. That
I'd be
doesn't
curious if we
include
could weigh
parts.
that, how much that would be.
Right. Or 2 years of all these people working, constantly picking up litter. How much of the taxpayer dollars have we saved? We've put out 100 and something trash cans let's talk about that. So when I went, to see if the city could put out public trash cans again, because they took those away because they didn't have the manpower or the money to maintain them.
Okay.
And I said, how are we going to have a litter campaign without a trash can? It's this like 1 + 1 = 2, right? So you got to have a trash can if you're going to pick up litter or get people to put their litter somewhere. There's no place for these people to put stuff, especially the panhandlers. Like, there was nothing. So I posted on Facebook, does anybody have any old trash cans that they would like to donate?
Yeah.
And so I got a pharmaceutical company that said, hey, we've got 8 big pharmaceutical grade trash cans, and they're like $800 a piece that we would like to donate. Where do you want them? And I was like, oh my God. So I didn't know where to put. I was just, so they brought them to my house, and you would have thought it was Christmas. You would have thought I won the lottery. I was jumping up and down in the driveway while they were pulling in, and I was just beside myself. So we took those cans. I brought them out to the interstate where all the panhandlers are, and they saw me pulling these cans out. They go, ma'am, what are you doing? I said, aren't you sick of standing in filth? All this filth, are you sick of it? They said, we can't stand it. We hate it. And I said, well, good, because guess what I just bought y'all? They said, what? I said, trash cans. And they went, really? I said, yeah, and I need some help. And they says, where you want them? They put these cans on their backs.
Wow.
They placed all my cans. Then I had 15 pounds of concrete, which is more like 50 when those little solid things.
Oh, yeah.
They put all of those in my cans. They put my bags, my liners in my cans. Then they started cleaning up all over the interstate. They started cleaning up the interstate for me. And they felt so good about it. And one of the guys, I told him, I said, I think his name was Matt. I said, Matt, you are the bomb. Look what you just did for our city. Look what y'all did. I said, you are amazing. It's incredible. He said, can you tell me that again?
Wow.
I said, Matt, you are the bomb. And he said, can you tell me one more time? I said, Matt, look what you did. You did something for the city of Baton Rouge. Look at what you just transformed.
That's impressive.
And he got the biggest smile and his little chest bowed out. He was so proud. And I bet you that some of these people have never had a compliment a day in their life because they're drug addicts. They're serious, hardcore drug addicts. And it kind of gave them a purpose, you know? And after that, people tell me all the time, I see these homeless people picking up garbage and putting them in your trash cans. And I go, really? They go, yeah. I took a picture of it, and people were sending me pictures of homeless people putting their litter off of the interstate in my trash cans. And I know they're doing it because all of their little, I need food, I need money, God bless you, all these signs, 50 of them in a trash can, or they're using them because they're in my trash cans.
Yeah.
So how often do y'all go and police the trash cans? Do y'all have a group that goes around kind of every couple of days and picks up the bags?
Yes, we have to do it ourselves because the city told me they couldn't do it. They didn't have the money to do it. They didn't have the manpower to do it. And I just said, well, I'll get my own cans and I will man them. So when I got the 8, and we manned those 8 trash cans, and they were using them those trash cans were being used. It was like a charm, that trash cans. Imagine that. So whenever we clean up an area, whatever part of town we're in, we clean up we take the bag out ourselves and we manage it. Jason comes with me all the time. And we put the bags aside, and then we call the city to pick them up, or nice people that have businesses will say, hey, you can use my dumpster. Thank you for doing what you're doing. And we have over 100 and probably 20 trash cans out right now. Oh, my
goodness. That is
120 cans that we are manning ourselves.
Wow.
And it's making a tremendous difference.
It goes to show, like I was saying earlier, that it just takes one or a few people with the right kind of mindset to really change like a whole lot of stuff.
Apparently, it takes Jennifer getting mad about something.
Well, but what I'm saying, like the point,
she's the catalyst.
You're right, but what I'm saying is, like, the point that I'm trying to make here is that anyone can do it.
Sure.
Like, you don't have
Absolutely.
to be. You don't have to be angry. You don't have to be like. But if you do have this,
you have to be propelled. I was propelled.
You're probably right. But even what the point that I'm trying to encourage people is, like, if you see something, you can do something.
Just do it.
You don't have, like, again, like, yes, it does work if you're propelled. It does work if you're probably angry about it. But if you just feel, even if you look at a situation like this isn't right, what can you do to change that?
Just do it.
Right, exactly.
And guess what? When you do something like that, God is watching you, and He will pave the way for you. I mean, I thought I was just going to go out and clean up this area, and that was going to be it. 2 years later.
That's what I'm saying. It's like you've built a trash empire. Is what
I have built it's like a revolution, you know?
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying is, like it starts off as you wanting to change something, or you wanting to do something different, or make a difference, or you're unhappy with the way things are being done. And all it takes is you taking those first few steps into creating something that could then blossom into something bigger than you could have ever imagined.
Oh, exactly. And people would tell me, it drove me crazy to see our city like this, but I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to get started. There was no organization doing this, and then you just did it, and now we do it just every day, not like some organizations that do it once a year or twice a year or 3 or 4 times a year.
Right.
But this is something that we got to stay on it. And now they're addicted to it, which is good.
I mean, of all the things to get addicted to,
yeah, it's great.
Keeping your city beautiful is a good one.
When y'all are out, do volunteers just show up? Do you have people just out of the blue going, "Oh my God, look what they're doing. Let's stop and help"? How is that?
Okay, let me tell you one of my favorite stories is so we were out cleaning around Perkins Road, where the interstate is at I-10, and we were cleaning up, and this woman, runs over to us in flip-flops and shorts and a T-shirt, got out of her car. And she said, "What are y'all doing?" I said, "We're cleaning up the city." And she said, "Oh my God." She says, "I want to help you. I mean, are you an organization or?"
Yeah.
I said, we're just a grassroots group. We're just tired of it, and we're cleaning up our city. And that woman got out of her car. She didn't even have a grabber. I gave her my grabber because she was so excited. Like, she goes, "Oh my God, I found my people." She pulled at least 50 pounds of Mardi Gras beads out of the culvert that was completely clogged.
Wow.
Man.
And worked like an animal.
That's absolutely.
And she was coming every single Saturday. I mean, if they had to go to a wedding, they would like, "I have to go to a wedding. I can't pick up litter." And then her husband came. And so, I mean, that's what has happened. It's just it's a movement. It's
once
crazy.
You see it harkens back. I see the results of my labor.
Yep.
A lot of people, we've lost that because we work in now kind of what I call sterile environments, where I go and do something and I really don't see the end of the tunnel.
Right. It's instant gratification.
It's instant gratification. I do it and I see it.
Right. And it's
beautiful.
And I tell people all the time, look, I have no control over the government. I have no control over COVID. I have no control over your political views or anything. But guess what? I have control over picking up all this litter. I'm going to take something blighted and turn it into beautiful in an hour. And I have total control over that. I love it.
Jennifer, you talked about how much money you save the city. Yeah. I also, I found this, some information on how much, about $9 million a year that they spend on average picking up litter. That's just from the Louisiana Department of Transportation. That on average could be used to overlay 90 miles of roadway per year.
Wow.
That is being those resources are being diverted from something that really we all talk about every day about roads and the condition of roads and the waste of money, and money's not going to where it needs to go. But $9 million a year that's being diverted to pick up litter in this state, and it's just a shame that people just do not have the respect to not throw stuff out of the car or to secure their load better.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it has to do with some of these garbage trucks that are litters falling out of the truck.
Yeah. I think we have a Mardi Gras mentality too, living in Louisiana. Like, if whatever is left on the ground, somebody's going to come by and pick it up, like Mardi Gras beads are,
Someone else's responsibility.
Yeah. People throw their baby diapers out of the window.
Unfortunately, I've seen that.
Their hair weaves. Let's talk about that. Oh my God. It looks like a snake. Is that a snake? No, it's a hair weave. And
didn't y'all find a gun?
Oh yeah, we found an automatic weapon. We found 2 handguns. One, a little pink one, handgun loaded. Both of these guns were loaded.
No way.
Yeah. We were on the news about it, on a podcast, another podcast on a radio station about it. The Brian Haldane show had us on. But what happened was one of our litter warriors, Janice, she was, we were all cleaning up and everything, and she texted me and she goes, "Did you see my picture I just sent you?" And I said, "No." She goes, "Well, look at it." And so I looked at it, and there's this like automatic weapon. I went, "Oh my God. Well, what is that?" She goes, "Oh, I picked up a gun." And she's very frail and very feminine and, just a sweet little precious Southern belle. And she goes, I said, "What did you do with it?" She goes, "Well, I just put it in my little cart, and I just continued to pick up litter. Of course, I faced it away from me."
Smart.
I said, "Well, where is it now?" "It's in the trunk of my car." I went, "It's in the trunk of your car?" I said, "Where are you?" She said, "I'm going to the police station and drop it off." I said, "Well, there's 2 sheriff's deputies in the parking lot where we are. Just come on, bring them over here."
Right.
So I flagged them down. I said, "Look, we found an automatic weapon, and she's coming back. She's got it in the trunk of her car."
Just imagine this nice lady.
I know.
"Here's my weapon."
I know. And this is our litter ward. These are people are over 60, okay, and 70 years old people.
Sweet ladies.
It's precious. What's going on?
Are we sure it was automatic? Or
it was an automatic weapon. But wait, so she pulls in. We open the trunk of her car. The police are all in it.
Right.
And the sheriffs are all in it, and we're all standing around, and all of a sudden, everybody started dying laughing. And I went, "What, is this a toy?" They go, "No, whoever threw this, the magazine was put in backwards."
No.
And so it wouldn't have worked anyway. But somebody threw it out the window. You could tell because it was right on the up ramp of the interstate. We go up those ramps and everything.
Wow.
And so, oh my God,
that's crazy.
Unfortunately,
the stuff we find is just, it's like an adventure.
The sins of Baton Rouge are all over the place. Huh?
Yes,
right?
Yeah. The sins of the city are on the streets. If you want to find out what's going on the streets.
And you go to New Orleans or any other metropolitan area in the state, I'm sure there's all kinds of problems.
That's what I was saying. I'm pretty sure like you can just insert any big capital city in any of the states. And I'm pretty sure it's a very similar. I know we have a big audience in Milwaukee. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what theirs is. I want to hear what they have to say about what.
Yeah, please let us know about what's going on up there.
What are the sins of your city?
Yeah. Well, the thing that this is what we thought at first. We're going to pick up the litter, and then it became something more like. There's layers of this. So we picked up litter, and it looks beautiful, and look at us. Well, look what we did, and it's wonderful. Then we decided, hey, let's go under the interstate in between those 2 walls at Segan. Let's go over there because it's horrible. I can see the litter in there. Let's just go on in there. So we had a big old crew of people on a Saturday. We went in there and we picked up 64 contractor bags in 2 hours with a snow shovel, and the smell would knock you out.
That's crazy.
Kicking butt and taking names.
Yeah. One trash bag at a time.
Yeah, one trash bag at a time.
It's a shame that
64.
It's a shame that was allowed to even get like that.
But this is what I want to say about
ridiculous.
it. You know what was in those bags? Uneaten food that people give them 365 days a year. Yep. Okay, so all that was there, rotten food, rats running around us while we were with our snow shovel, and hundreds and hundreds of drug needles. So that is what I want to tell people the most, okay? I am not against homeless people. I give to homeless people. I give to battered women. I do whatever I can. If you're hungry, I will feed you. I feed my enemies. I'm Italian. I feed everyone. I can't stand to know that somebody might be
technically,
hungry.
and you make sure they have seconds or you're offended.
Well, ask Jason. I cook every Saturday, and I bring some home-baked thing for the crew, just so that they don't get hungry.
Yeah, she's always has good food.
So that's the thing. But I tell people, these people are serious drug addicts. They don't want the food. They tell me, Miss Jennifer, we don't want the food. We don't. But people keep giving it to us. So all that mounds up. It's causing a rat problem. All the drugs from the needle, all that residue, the fentanyl, and all the vape pens that they're using now to smoke, that ends on the ground. All that nicotine goes into our water system. All the cigarette butts, it goes into our Baton Rouge water system. And the best thing Baton Rouge has going for it is what? Our water. Well, now our water is being compromised. I don't know how good it is
anymore.
Well, when Kip Holden was mayor and a representative, Baton Rouge had the best water in the nation for how many years running? When they do all the testing and Baton Rouge was, and it was the top water in the nation.
Baton Rouge gets its water from, I read, from the aquifers north of the city, and unfortunately, kind of years of unregulated use of that water by some of the plants north of the city is starting to have an effect. And what's happening is you're getting saltwater intrusion, and it's it ain't good right now. I think the last time because we talked about plants and about me collecting rainwater. Part of the reason I have to do that is because I can't use the water coming out of the hose pipe.
Right.
The hose pipe water is the parts per million now. They're having to put more and more chemicals in the water to make it drinkable.
And that's a shame.
And so we're a little losing that because of that, and that's a whole another issue with the pulling out of those aquifers. But anything that gets into our waterways, all that trash gets into our waterways. Now I did see that the city of Baton Rouge had gotten some grant money, and they were trying to put some booms up in some of these certain areas where it would catch this litter coming out, because most of that litter on land ends up in the water.
Right. Oh, it is definitely into the watersheds.
Yeah.
They took 81 tons of litter out of the Burden watershed behind the Burden property.
Wow.
81 tons of litter. It was like 2 or 3 feet deep, and it was, acres of this. It's all flowing into the watershed, and it's killing our birds. All of our waterfowl eat. When you cut these dead animals open and you open their bellies, it looks like a kaleidoscope of color, and that's all the bottle caps, all the little pieces of plastic straws. They think it's food, and they eat it, and they bring it to their babies, and their babies die. And this is all, pelicans with beer cans caught in their bills, and plastic rings off of 6 packs of beer, where it's wrapped around the beaks of these animals. I have pictures of it, and where the birds dive in to get a fish, and they can't open their beak to swallow the fish because their bills are tied up. It is so bad, and we have got to do better. We have to do better.
I have one question. You said that people have offered and donated their trash bins to you to dump your trash. What happens on these big days when you have an exorbitant amount of trash? Where do y'all actually dispose of the trash, and who pays for that?
Okay, well, whenever we have big monster things of trash, the city, one day a week, they pick up our big old huge monster thing of trash, whatever we call it in. But now we have Morales roll-off dumpsters. They give us a dumpster every Saturday.
Oh, wow.
That's a $500 dumpster a day, and they are being a part of the solution, and they just drop the dumpster off wherever we are, and we just throw our bags in there, and then they take it to the dump.
Wow.
So you wouldn't believe the people in our city that have donated. We've got Lamar Advertising. I was wanting just one sign to for people to see
right.
what we're doing. We have 27 digital signs all over the city because of Lamar Advertising.
Wow.
Mockler Beverage gave us 40 trash cans that were at the LSU Stadium, and they repurposed those trash cans for us. They have their own advertising company. They put Keep Tigertown Beautiful on our cans for us. All this hasn't cost the taxpayers one penny. Not one penny. We needed concrete. So we see the curbs are all busted up that the city's not getting to. We take that old concrete that's getting in the line of traffic, and we've been using that to repurpose it, to put in our trash cans, to stabilize our trash cans.
Wow.
Okay.
So
wow.
we've been doing some incredible things, and one of the God stories, this man who owns his own company texted me and said, you need this, after I said my car is full of litter supplies, I don't have any room anymore. And it was a huge trailer, covered trailer. And so I texted back, I answered him back, and I said, yeah, meet me at Sherwood Forest Gateway 12 Shopping Center at 8 o'clock Saturday morning. And he never responded back. So I go to my little Saturday morning cleanup, and sure enough, this big old trailer, brand spanking new, pulls in with this truck and trailer. And so this guy jumps out, and he goes, which one of you is Jennifer? And I said, I had like a frog in my throat. I said, I'm Jennifer. And he goes, Jennifer, this is for you. I went, what? He said, this is for you. I said, why? Why is this for me? He said, because every time I go down a street and it's beautiful, you've been there.
Wow.
He said, I've been trying to get anybody I can to help me with the problem, and nothing. And he said, now everywhere I go and there's a beautiful street. He said, so this is for you. And I said, well, wait, I'm not a 501c3. I mean, you can't write this off. And he said, I don't care about that dangly piece of paper.
Wow.
I said, what? He said, you haven't even been on the inside of it yet. And I'm thinking, I'm a real estate agent, right? Men, when they go in an attic, they just want you to see the attic, I'm like, okay, I'm over the attic. But anyway, he says, come see the inside. And so I open the inside, and there's a brand new John Deere riding lawnmower with the kind that spin around.
Right.
Professional backpack blowers, weed eaters, edgers, blowers, trash cans, vests, trash bags, everything you could need to clean up.
That's crazy.
And he said, this is yours. And I said, I live in a garden home. Where am I going? I don't know if I could I don't know how to drive that thing. And I'm a terrible driver. I said, I'll kill somebody. He said, you don't have to worry about that. I'm going to bring it to your cleanups.
Wow.
And he stayed, and he cleaned up longer than anybody that day. And he's just been wonderful. He donated T-shirts to our team.
That's cool.
His name is Seth, and he's just an amazing person.
That is really cool.
Mm-hmm. But people have been doing things like that for us.
Wow.
They see us and they go,
awesome.
what can I contribute? How can I help,
Yeah. Again, for me, it just, the more you say, the more it just circles back around to that same concept of like, you can do something. Anybody can make a difference.
Right.
Anybody can just do that one thing, can start something that can start the snowball to rolling. And then, of course, before you know it, you could ask and you shall receive kind of thing, where you just, before you know it, you have all these things and all these people involved, and it's just this.
Right. And it became a joke with my neighbor. I said, I'm running out of trash bags. And the next thing you know, I just have to say it.
Right.
And somebody would say, I just dropped off trash bags at your door.
I'm like, what?
You wouldn't believe the little people,
Right.
elderly people on their way to their oncologist. I live in the hospital corridor. And they said, I'm on the way to get my cancer treatment, and I just wanted to drop these 2 heavy boxes of contractor bags off to you. Just, it's just been amazing, the people that want to help.
It's cool to see that it's cool to hear that in a community like that it can be discouraging to look at the problem and see that it's trash and it feels like nobody cares.
Right.
But then it takes you putting boots on the ground and fixing it. And then enabling people to show that, no, it's not that I don't care. It's just that I probably don't have the time to do it. Mm-hmm. But they can show you that they care in their own way by getting trash bags or getting a lawnmower or whatever it may be. It's like, it's interesting to see.
Some people say, you do this every day? And then I go, yeah. Well, some people go to the gym every day. They would never think of not going to the gym or doing their run or their workout. I said, but we're doing our workout, cleaning the city. At the same time we're getting a workout, we're cleaning the city, getting our vitamin D, getting endorphins. People, and thanks. People are waving out the window with their thumbs up, thanking us. You get good feelings from that, and it just keeps you going, and you look back and you go, wow, look how great this looks.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So do you have I know you said you have a crew of people. Is there anybody that helps you with the workload, any second in command that helps you kind of balance out the... Well,
we have people, we've got people that call in our bags, and they do. Yeah. I am terrible with technology. I am not, I'm an ADD off the charts kind of person.
Got it.
And I just am not good with all that. So I have people that help me do that. I have people that, take notes for me, and everybody watches my back. I mean, I even lose my phone. How many times have I lost my phone? And it's in my hand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I've been there.
And I'm old and whatever.
Right.
But anyway, it's working.
That's cool.
It's working. It's taken off. And Jason is an incredible litter warrior. He comes every Saturday. He's always there, and he looks out after us. He watches us.
That's cool.
We feel so safe that he's with us.
Well, that's one of the reasons that this show actually happened. Jason's been with the podcast since about September, October of last year. But he would talk about, we have a great, and you're part of that today, we have a great pre-show, and he's talking about the trash, and Ian and I could see that passion and the smile on his face about what they did today, or how y'all did that, or what y'all did, and how many people, and the passion behind it. And we said, maybe we should turn that into a show, because we could visibly see and feel. What would that be, a visceral type thing?
Exactly.
It was very visceral when he would come into the pre-show and talk about, let's talk trash. Let's talk about it, and we could see his excitement, and that was really, really good. And Ian and I just kind of looked at each other and said, let's turn this into a show too. And
it's probably one of the most rewarding things I've ever been involved in.
Me too.
It's truly, I absolutely cannot stand seeing litter on the road, because I've been to parts of the country that are absolutely pristine and beautiful, and you don't see even a cigarette butt on the ground. And
That's
unfortunately, we live in an area that there's an apathy when it comes to this problem. And at a minimum, this was an opportunity. Seeing this group doing this, it was like, okay, I've got to jump in and start participating, because you can talk about it as much as you want. You can complain, and whether your government officials should be doing more or less, or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, if you don't do something,
well, how did you find out about this organization? How did you find out about this group?
I'm trying to remember when I think I saw it on Facebook.
Okay. I know. And then Jason, guess what? I am picking up litter in front of the Oyo Motel, which is the most dangerous place in our city. And Jason pulls on the side of me, and he said, Jennifer, are you Jennifer? And I said, yeah. He goes, look, I'm Jason, and I love what you're doing. And I was a mile away from where I needed to be, and I just jumped in the car with a total stranger. And Jason brought me back to my group, and Jason said, I want to join y'all. I brought him back to the group, introduced him, and it's been great ever since. Yeah.
The thing that it kind of brings me back to was, we talked about this a little bit with HOA and things like that. Was that
was a good episode.
That was a good episode.
We got a lot of feedback from that one too.
It's a sense of community that is lost in a lot of ways. A lot of neighborhoods and a lot of places that it feels like everything's online, and it feels like there's no pride for a community like there used to be, or at least from what I've heard. And so hearing this kind of stuff, it feels like you're also sparking interest in that aspect of it, where you not only caring for the city you may be residing in, but it's also like getting you lock in step with people that also live in the same community as you, which is kind of cool to hear about.
And so diverse.
I bet
we have the most diverse group of people that have come out. I mean, where can you go and have Democrats and Republicans and blacks and whites and gay and straight and fat and skinny and tall and short and every kind of person that should be at war with each other and bring them to pick up litter. And we are loving each other.
I was going to say, you know what?
Single purpose.
Everyone has to deal with trash.
Exactly.
Well, we keep talking on this show. We will keep wondering, what is the one event that's going to bring us all together?
It's
Maybe
trash,
it's trash.
picking up trash.
It's trash. Picking up trash.
We laugh about it, but I'm telling you, we've got about 80 people that literally come out to pick up litter. And, sometimes it could be like 30 people, 20 people. We never know. But when everybody's out in full throttle, we have literally 80-something people that and one person can make a tremendous difference in 5 minutes. So when you have 80 people out there picking up litter at one time, it's just incredible. And everybody, and I can't remember what I ate for breakfast, but I know everybody's name because they keep coming back. We've had people that have come, and you can sometimes people come and you can tell that they've had a lot of sorrow in their life and a lot of bad things. But if you look on my Facebook page, going back 2 years, the one thing you will see is this: when they're pulling in, they have a big old smile on their face, every single person.
That's so cool.
And when they leave, they have a big old grin on their face. There's never anybody that did not enjoy. It's the smiles of the. I always tell people, all you need is rubber boots and a sense of humor, right?
Yeah.
Because some of the stuff we find is like we can't talk about it on. We can't talk about it, but we talk about it, and it's amazing.
Okay, so if people aren't driving by and finding y'all, what is the Facebook page the best way to get a hold to you?
Yeah,
what is the complete title? How can people find you on Facebook?
Okay, it's Keep Tigertown Beautiful on Facebook.
Okay.
And we're on the Nextdoor app too. So people that don't want to do Facebook, you can go on the Nextdoor app and just say, hey, I post every Monday where we're going to be for the following Saturday.
Okay.
So you've got plenty time to make arrangements, to come out. And then we do a pop-up clean. That's in purple. It's a big block of purple. You can't miss it. On Facebook, it's not purple on Nextdoor because they don't have that capability, or I don't know how to do it. And then every day we have a pop-up cleanup. It's a hot pink, and it says, we're doing a pop-up cleanup today at this area at 8 o'clock in the morning. Who's in? And people say, I'm in.
Yeah.
And then it's just the coolest thing. One time I did a cleanup, like in the beginning, and I thought, who's going to come to this? We would do it early, at like 7:30 in the morning because it gets so hot in the summer,
Oh, yeah.
I said, who's going to come to this? And I remember it was like in Sherwood Forest when we did Sherwood one time, and it was like dark, and I'm thinking nobody's going to come, and all of a sudden you see headlights coming. One car after another, after pulling in, like, and couldn't wait to get there. Big old smiles on their faces.
That's
ready
awesome.
to hit it. It's just it's awesome.
A lot of people have bought in, and I said you have been a catalyst. That issue has been simmering probably for a long time in Baton Rouge, and as well as other communities.
Right.
I don't know what sort of litter efforts may be they're going on in other cities, but I'm sure they've got something. I don't know if they have anything like you. I don't know if they do or not.
Not to toot my own horn,
but you're unique. You started something that's completely free of waiting on the government to provide a solution for something, and I think that is the key to this. It's my own desire. I don't want anything for it other than to see
immediate
the city
gratification.
I want to see the city. If they live in, I want to see the city I grew up in, what it looked like when I was little. Because I'm gonna tell you, I don't recall it looking the way it has looked 25 or 30 years ago. I just don't.
I think it's interesting. No surveys.
Right. I think it's interesting that there's an old saying, don't kill and steal because the government doesn't like it because it doesn't want the competition. Well, I don't think you're going to have any competition from the government cleaning up the city, because then they would have to clean themselves up first.
Yeah, well, that's true.
And so I don't think you'll have any problem. That's just amazing that you're doing all of this and it's not costing the taxpayer a dime.
Not one penny.
Not one
Nothing.
penny. Is that amazing?
Has the city of Baton Rouge offered to help in regard to like street sweepers or something like that? Because I know in many cities utilize street sweepers a lot.
No, sure. We've seen street sweepers in like upper end neighborhoods where there's no litter, there's no cigarette butts driving around, and people have taken pictures of the street sweepers. Like there was a street sweeper sighting, and they'll take a picture of it going down like a very nice neighborhood where there's no cigarette butts on a curb, where there's no litter. And I'm thinking, what politician lives in that neighborhood?
Exactly.
Well, there you go.
Because why would that even be? And I'm begging to get somebody to come out and clean up this. We've resorted to, you know who the EBR street sweeper is, right? We are. We bought snow shovels, and they work like a charm. We shovel the curbs with a snow shovel.
How much does a street sweeper go for?
Oh,
I don't know, but I don't. I mean, I know some communities utilize street sweepers a lot.
That's your next.
I don't see them very often at all.
I was going to say it's your
next.
next.
Maybe after a parade.
My street sweeper costs $27 at Lowe's. It's a snow shovel, and it's very effective.
Right.
Well, I lived in the French Quarter for years, where you could only park on your street so many days of the week because the street sweeper was coming through.
Right.
That's right.
And they'd tow you off if you were on the wrong street.
I was going to say that's your new wish list item. Is just put that on the list somewhere.
Right.
Go like, if anybody wants to invest in a street sweeper,
right?
Just put it on there. May never happen, but who knows?
It's just crazy the things that have happened.
Yeah.
I've had people where I've been on a podcast or a radio show, and they listen to the show, and then the next day would be like Saturday, and people just show up at 7:00 in the morning with $100 for me. Here's to buy. I heard you on the podcast, and I couldn't turn it off. And I'm here, and here's some money for your trash bags. And sometimes people in their cars. Remember the LSU football game, the first game? We were parked at Albertsons at College Drive, and people were just pulling up, giving us, money. Here, buy trash cans. Keep doing what you're doing.
Wow.
They don't mind doing it when they see that we are for real. We're not a bunch of lip service. We are boots on the ground, kicking it and it's
tell it like it is, Jennifer.
Right.
Tell it like it is.
It is. We are in my group. I'm telling you this. I'm so proud of my volunteers. Like, God really sent me, handpicked these people because they're exactly what I need them to be.
That's awesome.
And I work alongside of them. I don't order people around or tell them what to do.
Right.
And the first thing I tell people, they go, Ken, how do I join? What do I need to do? I said, well, number one, we have no rules. That's number one. Life is hard enough as it is, and nobody needs more pressure that they have to be or go somewhere.
I like the rules you said before, is like just have boots and a sense of humor.
That's it.
I love it.
And
that's
if you
great.
come, it's fabulous. If you don't come, that's great too.
Right.
We don't want you to feel like you have another obligation in life. We have too much of that.
Yeah.
So people, they come, I think, just to clear their head from all the stuff we have to worry about. I think they love going out there and seeing something happen.
I can imagine. I love cleaning up even my own home, just like tidying it up and putting things in a certain way.
Makes you feel better.
Yeah, so I can imagine just like seeing just trash, and then of course after a couple hours it being just
a beautiful, perfect lawn.
That sounds cool.
And y'all, everybody that's listening, spring is coming. It's right around the corner when those crepe myrtle trees and those beautiful Louisiana plants start popping out of everywhere. They even pop out of the litter. We see beautiful flowers popping out of our litter.
Wow.
Because Louisiana is so fertile and amazing.
It always finds a way.
Right, it finds a way.
The good thing about it, we're starting to get into the season where the grass cutting crews are going to be getting back out on these medians and stuff, and they pick up litter, so that's going to help.
Yeah. And they chop it up too with the
lawn.
They
do chop it up too.
Yeah, they do that.
They don't pick it up the way, I don't think, the way Jennifer, your group does at all.
There's a certain level of TLC that goes in, I guess, with their group.
Well, remember, they're getting paid to do that.
Oh, I mean,
we do it for
they're
free.
Getting paid.
Yeah.
It's different when you're doing something for free.
Yeah, it's just
more passion goes into it.
Well,
oh yes, we're so proud. Sometimes I'll look back. We'll clean something up that was so horrible, and then it looks like somebody else's city, and
That's awesome.
And we'll stand back and we'll go, look at that, and then we'll just. We can't leave. We can't leave where we are because we're mesmerized.
Yeah.
What we just did.
Well, I just want to let everybody know that there is a number that you can call to report littering. It's 888-548-7284 or 888-LITTERBUG. That goes to the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries litter hotline. So you can report it. There's a number.
And I'm pretty sure if you live in a different state, there's
different states probably have something equivalent.
Yeah.
And if you see somebody illegally dumping tires or any furniture or any of that kind of stuff, just illegally dumping, video them, get video their license plate because they can get heavily fined. All those tires are full of carcinogens. That goes in our water too.
Wow.
You think it's not affecting you? It's affecting you. It's affecting your children.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the two statutes governing litter in Louisiana is Louisiana Revised Statute 32383, which deals primarily with unsecure loads, and then the other one is Louisiana Revised Statute 302531, which addresses littering and outlines fines and stuff like that.
Wow.
So
we're going to be getting new garbage trucks in a year or so,
Wow.
and they're not going to load from the back of the truck. They're going to load from the side of the truck so that when they take off, you ever get behind a garbage truck, everything's flying out of the back, right? So they're picking up litter. They're picking up garbage only to spew it back out. Well, the new trucks are supposed to be a lot better because they load from the side, and so that when they take off, it's not going to be flying out of the back of the truck.
Wow.
And, if people would tie off their garbage bags.
Yeah.
That becomes a big, because when they're empty and all that, it just falls on the ground.
Yeah.
People that use no garbage bags, there's a problem with that too.
Really?
Yes, that's a big problem.
All right.
Wow. What a great episode. I'm glad that you were able to come here, Miss Jennifer, and talk about all this stuff.
Thank you so much
all this trash.
for having
Jason,
me. I'm the trashiest woman in town, and proud of it.
Thank you for the long drive with Miss Jennifer to the studio today.
We got a long drive back home.
That's all right. He's so sweet.
I love it. That's awesome. Well,
look at that face.
Yeah.
Do I have to?
Yeah, you got to look at it.
Wow.
You got to look at it. I mean, I got in a car with a total stranger, and it was Jason.
Yeah, that's me.
I mean, of all the people to get in a car with, I'm pretty sure he's probably the best option.
He was.
So, I mean, besides all of the different ways you can get in contact with Miss Jennifer, we have a Facebook page /Retrospect Pod where you can give us suggestions or ask us questions or just get involved with us more that way. We also have a link tree /Retrospect Pod that has all the different platforms that you can listen to us on, or all the different social media as well. But anyways, until next week, thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. God bless.
You're the best. Peace.